All right. My apologies, folks. I had to redo this, of course. Once you fall offline, you have to redo it, resend out, do what we do. My apologies. I promise to make this quick and easy, real fast. Share it to the page. Um, Share it to our groups, the groups that rock with us and the groups that don't. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with all of them, to be honest with you. Some will not accept the share, but that's okay. I'm cool with that too. What's good with everyone? Let me see who we got. Let's see who we got. I apologize. We fell off. AP. My bad, bro. Steven Speed. What's good? Who else we got in here? Let it be known if you're here. Let it be known. I apologize. We fell off. Little computer problem. I don't know how many of me, however, how many of you actually heard what I said as far as today's conversation will be a short conversation today, mainly because I'm simply worn out. I had two mama bears back to back conversations. Happy Wednesday, Brenda Early says. We're back. Appreciate you guys. People over at YouTube, I appreciate you coming back in. Brenda Early says, Happy Wednesday. Thank you, sister. Stephen Speed, what's good? He says, good evening, Wyatt-Live family. This is gonna be a short conversation. I'm gonna pick it up from where some people left off. And first I wanna say something about yesterday's show, but I'm gonna wait for a few more people to come in so I can not necessarily vent, but I can give my side of the story again. I'm gonna definitely get the last word. You know you can't never get the last word dealing with no black ladies. Black women always get the last word. Not this time. I called time out. Who remember that shit? You playing tag, your ass fall, you do some old goofy shit out there, you call time out. Ain't no time out in the hood. Slips and trips count. Slips and trips count. Can't call time out. Time out don't exist in the hood. Now, tag, you it. You fell on your own. Laying on the ground with damn scrapes all on your leg. And, you know, who remember them days? Some of y'all still falling, but I'm talking about our younger days. How many of y'all remember them days we would get them scrapes on our leg and a damn scab? Oh, that was the worst. The scab was horrible. Especially when you peeled it off before it was time to come off. Oh, yeah, that was horrible. Then you got to wait for it to scab up again. It was crazy. Anyway, when you fall, there's no timeouts. But yesterday, since we didn't grow up and we ain't in the hood no more. What's up, Jenny? Good to see you. Denise, what's good with you? Since we ain't in the hood anymore, after talking to the two mama bears back to back, what days was that? Was that Monday, Tuesday? Because today is Wednesday, right? Who wants to be me right now? Who wants to talk to Delita for 2 hours on a Monday? That's a Thursday or a Friday conversation all day long. Like, you're supposed to have one of them conversations when you know, like, you got a day or two to rest afterwards. I had Delita on Monday, followed up by Arthea Williams on Tuesday, and these conversations turned out to be more than conversations. We were tongue wrestling. I know most of y'all faded the black on me. You left. To the fellas, y'all ain't shit. There's a couple of you that stuck around, helped me fight that unfightable fight. That was an unwinnable fight. Yesterday's conversation turned into some shit that I just felt like I was in quicksand. Like, no matter what I say, it was not going to be good enough. It was not going to be right. You ever argued with somebody that just want to argue? Y'all agree, but they just want to be argumentative. If you don't say it the way they say it, then it's wrong. 2 plus 2 is 4. They will argue that 2 plus 2 is not 4. Because to get 4, you got to add 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4, Wyatt. But isn't 2 plus 2 4 also? Yeah, but it ain't the same. It ain't the same. I hear what you're saying, Wyatt, but it's not the same. You got to stop giving too much credit to the twos all the time. The twos always get favored over the threes and the ones. But isn't it 4? Regardless of who we talk about, we got the same bottom line. Yes, but you always blaming the twos to make 4. And it ain't always the twos that make the 4s. See how crazy that shit sound? That's what I've been feeling like the last couple of days. So right now, I'm drunk on that. I'm drunk on spinning. I'm like, not drunk literally with alcohol. I'm drunk on the spin. Remember those sit and spins when we was kids? You sit your ass on the sit and spin? I got one time. I rode it the day that I got it, and I pushed that damn thing back in my toy box as a kid because I rode it that one time. And I was so drunk off of that sit and spin, I never rode the damn thing again. It was a horrible ride. It was a crazy ride. You know, you sit on it and you turn the wheel thing real fast and your ass spinning and it looked fun. It even feel fun when you first starting. Who remember that, old heads? Sit and spin. It even had the wheel in the center, and then it had the thing in the middle that swerve with you, confuse you even more. Your ass getting sicker, and you at the sickest when you get to the high speed. You sitting around there, look fun as hell till it stop, and then you get off drunk. The room spinning. It was crazy. So I'm the only one that got to sit and spin as a kid. I'm the only one that got to sit and spin as a kid. Don't nobody know what I'm talking about when I say sit and spin. All right. Yeah, okay. That was only for us rich kids, right? Okay. Got you. Anyway, last couple of days been tough. AP says, bro, I had your back. At least I tried to have your back. I don't know. I read some of your comments was helping. Like I seen you say something yesterday, like sis just being like argumentative. And I just couldn't for the life of me stress that I don't have a problem with a woman. Well, I'm not going to say I don't have a problem. But I just couldn't get past somebody. Well, I understand somebody defending it because it's something that didn't happen. It's too late. And, you know, some people just root for the underdog sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And don't want everybody against them. But fellas, I needed a little bit more help yesterday. Not one of you typed on that keyboard of yours or whatever the hell device you watching this on or listening to us on. Not one of you called and said shit, typed anything in and said, I don't want no woman with 6 baby daddies either. I'm the only one that stood on that circle. Y'all let my sister, Thea Williams, just go way too long yesterday and had me running in circles. I was a dog chasing his tail. And it wasn't even my tail I was chasing. I was chasing the point. I kept saying the same thing over and over. But you blaming the girl for having 6 baby daddies. Yeah. It's her fault. She got 6 baby daddies. It's her fault. It ain't the fella's fault. Well, of course. It's baby daddy number 6's fault that he messed with her with 5 kids with 5 baby daddies. It's baby daddy number 5. It's his fault because she had 4 kids with 4 different daddies. And then it's baby number 3's fault, baby daddy number 3 fault, because he messed around with her and became number 3. Y'all see the pattern I'm getting to. It's everybody's fault. But the one thing that we did came to the agreement on was what I've always said on the show, and that is, hey, a father can't just drop off child support and think he's being a daddy. I said, that's what we lacking. You come on now. You can't. I don't care if you Nick Cannon. I seen some ladies put Nick Cannon up there like he some prominent father. What, he got 11 kids, 13 kids or some shit like that. And since he can afford to have them, he can make sure they go to good schools and he can make sure that they have luxurious homes. That makes him a good dad. Who's teaching your children, Nick? Nick Cannon, who's the daddy? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that he's not in their lives. But it's kind of hard to be a good-ass daddy to 11 kids or 13 kids. It's hard. When they all in different directions, that's tough. I don't care how much money you have. Because to have that much money means you working your ass off too. Your schedule is tight. You got a tight-ass schedule. But God, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do 30 minutes today. I am so drained. It feels like I'm still sitting here from yesterday and the day before, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I moved. It don't seem like I've been anywhere. I think I put on a different color sweatshirt and that's it. That's how I feel right now. I'm drained. None of y'all fellas, if you a fella on here and you got my back, you failed me yesterday. You absolutely failed me yesterday. I even had to go back and look at the show. I watched the comments. I was monitoring the comments this morning from yesterday. And I'm like, nobody had my back. AP was the closest. I think Emmanuel Livingston was close as well. But all the rest of you, man, it sickens me to say this. But this is not the first time. You failed me before. Now, all them ladies that they was about to jump me on this subject yesterday, all of them was ready to jump me. They come to the show, and you can't even give them an incentive to come back. Now that we done said what we had to say, and especially what's her name, Dominique, she stay gone until they tag her because we talking about some shit that she can get mad at me about, and then never talk to me again. Never come back to the show till she get tagged again, because when it's time to disagree with Wyatt, that's when they want to watch it. They don't ever want to come over here and get a different perspective, try to measure what I say about other topics towards their topic, and try to make it make sense like, wow, he's kind of consistent in his thought process. No, I'm just the male chauvinistic pig that don't like nothing, don't like women. He don't like women, and we just gonna argue with his ass. We're gonna podcast jump him. All right, that's cool. Don't give a fuck. Cool. Told you I was ready for it. I went too long. It's just I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to stop yesterday. I should have. And the only reason why I didn't want to stop is because, you know, the first one to stop, the other one feel like they won. And y'all know that was crazy. That was crazy as hell. And for any woman, I don't care who you are, and I'm going to say it again right now, and y'all going to log off when I say this. Any woman that feels like you got 6 babies with 6 different men, any woman that feel like that woman is valued, not valued, we don't want to say disvalued, but any woman that feel like a woman out here that got 6 babies with 6 different baby daddies, and she 30, 35 years old, if you think that a man is looking to make her his wife or anything like that, you fooling yourself and you lying to us. You lying to us and fooling yourself at the same time. If you have a son, ladies, if you have a son, just turned 23, fresh in school, out of school in the whole 9, if he found a woman that had 6 kids with 6 different men, and that was gonna be his woman, you know you would rock, you would lose your motherfucking mind. If he brought her home, you'd lose your mind. You got 6 instant grandkids. Different baby daddies. Y'all know y'all lose y'all mind. That's what I should have asked her. But sis would have made up. She would have gave us the right answer. She would have been like, oh, yeah, I love them. I take care of them. I'd be their grandmama. She'd say everything just to make sure that she would get her point across of you can't give up on the women. Whatever point you were trying to make, Athea, I don't know. I don't know. But yes, it is the father's fault too that these kids are growing up on their own. Predominantly it's their fault. But at the same time, I'm going to leave this alone, but I'm going to say this last part. At the same time, there are plenty of women who have children with guys, and they use the kids as tools. If you ain't gonna be with me, if he ain't gonna be with me, he ain't gonna see the kids. And there's plenty of women that go right down to child support and don't even give a man an opportunity to be financially responsible for their kid. They go right to child support. They don't even have a conversation with the dude. They don't even try to work shit out. And the first thing you want to do is now child support get all up in your business and shit, and then you want to complain about the systems. Oh, the system's this, the system's that. Well, stop knocking on the system's door. Stop fucking with them people. They down there to deal with the people that come see them. They don't come see you. You don't turn 21 and all of a sudden you don't have a baby in the child support system at General Hospital or UC Hospital at your birth room of your baby. They ain't sitting there with a pad and pencil saying, hey, you know what? Next week, if you want to fill this paperwork out right now, next week we can set you up with an appointment to get your child support. They don't do that. They ain't recruiting. They waiting for people down at that office to come see them. So stop it. All right. Only got a few people here. We only got a few moments. I'm not going to talk long. Couple things I want to talk about. I just want to be honest and tell y'all, I do know a little bit more about the shooting from Texas. And I've been listening, of course, to all the chaos agents talk shit. Those that don't know politics, those that do know politics, those that use politics to get their point across, and those that really understand what politics of these gun laws and all that really mean. Listen, this is going to be a very, very short conversation because the answer to the problem is very simple. So you can listen to a 2-hour show, 3-hour show. Y'all can huff and puff and blow the house down, but it's a very easy solution to all these shooting problems. It's a very simple problem to fix. You're never going to get over the mental health of someone taking a gun, shooting a school, a church, a grocery store, none of that shit. I don't care what laws you put in place. I don't care what legislation you have in place. We got laws and legislation against drug trafficking. It still exists. It still happens, no matter how old the people are. You got drug dealers that are 11 years old. You got drug dealers that are 62 years old. Drugs is illegal. There's been a war on drugs, but it's an illegal activity. That legislation and laws are monitoring the activities. It's a crime. Most crimes happen, and there are laws and bills and all that shit against it, right? So what makes you think when you toughen legislation on guns that it's going to stop a crime? Is it happening now? Let's just be honest. Think about it. Who has the state? What states in America have the hardest, the strictest gun laws? Somebody help me with that. Somebody help me with that. Let's put the Jeopardy music on. Wyatt, I'll take New York for $200. What states have the strictest gun laws in America? I'll name two. One on the East Coast, one in the Midwest. And if you want to go out south, if you want to go out west, we can do that as well. Illinois and New York. Strictest gun laws in America. What's going on there? California, like I said, we can go out to the west. What's going on in New York? What's good, Queen? There go Cleopatra, y'all. We got royalty in the building. Love it when the queens jump in. So how are these stricter laws going to solve a gun problem? They think signing these laws and legislation is going to stop the access of the guns. Come on, man. There's legislation and crime bills and all that shit against dope in America. How's that working? All it's doing is sentencing people longer, but it's not preventing the action from happening. Come on, am I right or wrong? Is this not common sense? I'm trying to figure out why we always got to be so damn argumentative and find something to be arguing about instead of talking about a solution. Here's the solution. You heard it first on Wyatt-Live. All the other podcasts and radios and all these other shows nationwide, this is the reason why you need to be listening here. Because it's not legislation. It's not all the shit that these people who need something to be talking about and blaming other people. It's not any of that, because legislation, like I said before, if you just tuned in, legislation and bills and crime bills and all that shit exist on every criminal behavior in America, and crime still happens, especially guns. Guns are going to be guns. It's the people that have to change. There are 20 million AR-15s in this country. How many AR-15 assaults happen in this country? The numbers don't even support what people are arguing about. I can give you a more brutal statistic than gun shootings in America of irresponsible behavior. Want me to give you one? And then I'll get back to the solution to the problem of the massive shootings. You got more people that drink and drive than do massive shootings. Oh, y'all don't hear me. There's more people that go to the bar on a happy hour day, on a Friday night, Saturday night. There are more people that go drink alcohol, get in a car, and crash and wreck and kill other people, and not kill themselves, kill other people, and cause more death than massive shootings in this country. Alcohol. You can blame alcohol. You got legislation on alcohol. But is it really alcohol that's doing it? Or is it irresponsible behavior from people? So when you got people that's using politicians as the argument, all they're trying to do, including politicians themselves, they're trying to this is grandstanding. This is for people who don't understand that legislation don't stop people from doing crime. It may help prevent a kid that's 18 years old from going into the gun shop and buying a gun legally. It might stop that. But anybody that has the dumbass ability, the will to go into a school, a grocery store, or a church and shoot up that place of unarmed people, they'll find a way to get that same gun. The black market in guns is big, just like the black market in dope. It's big. These people will find a way to get a gun anyway. Them being able to go buy it at a gun store is not making them do this. And the numbers show that there are more responsible gun owners in this country than there are people who are not, that are not responsible. There's more responsible people than there are irresponsible people when it comes to guns. So all these Steve Kerr's, the coach of the Golden State Warriors, and all this old shit, you talking all that old shit. I don't see you standing up about the gun violence in Chicago, Cincinnati, out in San Francisco where your ass live. I don't hear you talking about the shit that's going on. When you start caring about all this shit? When did you care? You just want to be heard. You grandstanding. You don't know nothing about the legislation because all it is saying background checks. So now let me ask you something. You want high AR-15s, those military rifles or whatever. You just want people to have to get a background check for those, right? Well, what about the 9mm, the 38 specials, the Glocks and shit like that that's in the streets out here now? What about them guns? You do know that there's more legal guns that I just named that are being responsible, people that are being responsible for them same guns. Remember the example that I used a couple weeks ago where the guy who got mad at White Castles, they got his order wrong. He was mental too, right? He used a crossbow. So I told you, if they do this with the guns, people will find something else to use. Bottled rockets or some, grenades. They will find something other than a gun to do their dirty deed. These are mentally ill people. And then here you come with these bartenders and these chaos agents just trying to make it sound like Republicans don't give a shit about people because they want to be in power. Republicans get shot by guns too. Democrats get shot by guns too. I don't think a D is bulletproof, and I don't think a R is bulletproof. But now let me tell you let me tell you the solution to the problem without being all into this politics shit. The bottom line is this. Let's take a survey. When was the last time you seen one of these massive shooters? Let's call it a massive shooter. When was the last time you seen one of them go hit a gun range, shoot, get out their car, and run into a gun range and just start shooting everybody up? When was the last time they went to a military facility and just start shooting people up? When was the last time they went to a police station and just went in there and just start shooting everybody the fuck up? You get where I'm going with this? They go to soft targets. I've been saying that. You know, the Will Smith effect. I'm going to hit somebody that I know ain't going to hit me back, not capable of hitting me back. I'm going to pick a soft target. So that's why you got a young man that's 18 years old that goes shoot up a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, with the strictest gun laws in America, New York. He hits a soft target. He didn't go to the hood. He didn't go in the neighborhood of the dope dealing and the dudes that might possibly have a 9mm in their back. He didn't go fuck with the people on the block. He didn't go do that. He didn't go by the gangbangers, or he didn't go in the hood where there was a potential of some fucking smoke coming back at his ass. He didn't do that. He went to a soft target. So here's the answer. Here's the solution to the problem. It's not legislation. It's not all that shit. We have to figure out a way, because that's politicians and people who trying to make arguments and sound smart. They just trying to sound smart. The bottom line is this. In anything, in business, there's a problem, and then there's a solution to the problem, correct? The solution to this problem is you find out what is the magnet of the problem. What is the attraction? What pulls the problem in? Once you find that, and you say, well, what would be the counter? What's the counter? You say to yourself, the people that are hitting targets are taking soft targets. So we have to now learn how to make these what was once soft targets now harder targets to hit. We got to figure out a way to make soft targets questionable or harder targets. Who understand what I'm saying? Who with me on this? Do I sound like an idiot to you? People fall off when you say, it ain't political, it ain't politics, it ain't this, it ain't that. This is a reason for the Democrats to blame the Republicans. This is a reason for the Republicans to blame the Democrats. Let's leave politics out of it. 50 senators up there not voting in the House for the new gun laws and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you where this shit starts. If my daughter went to Cincinnati Public Schools, I would be on the phone right now with the school board saying we need to figure out a way to take our schools off of the soft target list. We need one entry, multiple exit doors that only open from the inside. We need better school monitoring. We need not to be a soft target. We need the police at the school. See, that here once again, I'm proving why police are important at school, because it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent. We have to not be a soft target. June 1st. Well, we got about a week, week and a half. In the state of Ohio, you'll be able to carry a firearm, concealed firearm. Oh, my bad. Hold on one second. AP said he's trying to call in. Let me put the script. Maybe you calling the wrong number, AP. Let me see. Maybe it did. Let me see. I want to see if I missed the call. Nope. I haven't missed the call. So I just put the phone number back up on the screen, AP. Try the number again. 513. Make sure you dial the 513, bro. 513-310-0546. I'm trying to tell y'all the solution to this problem is not that difficult. Now, I hear people talking about letting teachers carry weapons. I'm not opposed to that.
Now, I hear people talking about...
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm not opposed to that. Because now that school is no longer a soft target. And I'm not talking about just let Miss Joanne come to school with a gun and she don't have no proper training. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about school teachers that have a lockbox in the school, sitting in the desk with a lockbox with proper training. Now that school is no longer a soft target. No longer a soft target. Let me take a call. Let me see what I can come on with. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
This is AP, Wyatt.
Hey, what's going on, AP? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, bro. How about yourself?
I'm holding on, man. I've been listening to a lot of things today. Few shows locally and some out of state, and I just hearing the same thing, bro. It's all politics, and I don't agree with it.
Well, if you remember, I've told you before, I'm a gun advocate.
Okay. Yeah,
And,
we agreed on some things. We agreed on everybody. I remember. Go ahead, AP. My bad, bro.
Yeah, I mean, hardening the schools. I believe, just like they got TSAs out there at the airports, that are government jobs. I don't see why we can't have federally funded security at schools. We got a lot of veterans coming back who got experience and dealing with things like that, and put these guys to work. Also, I do believe there are some laws on the books that need to be tightened up because, like Facebook, I can say something that they consider wrong for their community, but apparently this guy and some others like him before have posted things on Facebook. I believe this young guy, he put some things out there about, videos of him torturing animals and stuff, but nobody caught that and read like that and pulled his butt in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had the incident of threatening his school. That right there could be, something like that should, nullify you from being able to purchase a weapon, for the rest of your life. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
I agree. You get one chance to mess it up. You do something wrong, we don't want to hear no excuses. You get one shot. You know what I'm saying, AP? You get one shot to be a knucklehead, and that's it. No more chances. You can't risk it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. I was just saying you can't risk dealing with some of these people.
And there are also some loopholes that need to be closed. You shouldn't be able to go to a pop-up gun show and walk out here have them purchase a weapon with no background check.
Well, here's the thing. There are background checks. If you don't have a felony, if you don't have a conviction, when you say background checks, you're meaning some type of evaluation of an individual. They do criminal background checks when you go buy a gun.
Yeah, at your brick and mortar, but a lot of these pop-up ones, like you go to a gun show in Shanville or somewhere like that, and some of these other states, you can purchase a weapon and walk out of it.
Yeah, but they're supposed to do what they call, I forgot exactly what the paperwork is. It's a federal form. They're supposed to fill that out and fax it over or email it in to them, and they're supposed to have they usually could get a approval or a denial within 60 minutes, within an hour. And I'm not sure, I don't know if they're doing that or not, but I do know that's the rule. Now, if everybody's following that rule, AP, I'm not sure. But see, that's an easy fix. If you're breaking that rule, you lose your dealer's license. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But
exactly.
there's a lot of misinformation out there, bro, about how people getting guns. I'm an officer of the court. If when I go get a gun, if I go buy a gun tomorrow at the gun shop or gun shack or whatever, at a gun store, they're gonna make me fill out a federal form for that purchase, and they're gonna run my name, and they're gonna make sure I don't have any, criminal activity or anything like that. And they usually make you wait a little while. But if you bought another gun, you're usually in a registry. If you have a gun and it's registered to you, you're in a registry. So that's the first thing they look at. Is if you're already a previous gun owner, then chances are they're gonna expedite your whole process of buying another gun.
Yeah, exactly. But usually, I go to a gun shop, or I have that I buy from, or I have buy online, and it gets shipped to a dealer, and you got to go pick it up, and they do the paperwork there.
Right.
And the one I go to, depending on the time of day, you can go in and they call you in, and it usually only takes 5 minutes for your yay or nay to come back.
Yeah, because they have history on you, but it ain't 5 minutes for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if you got some questionable stuff in your history, yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that. But
so now,
anyway,
let me ask you this, AP. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So, do you agree or disagree with what I'm saying as far as these soft targets? Most of these massive shooters hit places that they know no fire coming back at them.
Yeah. Easy pickings.
Right.
Low hanging fruit.
Movie theaters. Shooting from the balcony of hotels and shit like that into a group of people because you can't shoot back, or they're shooting into a crowd, or they're going in a room, a grocery store, and they know that time of day. Why didn't that white dude go into the black neighborhood around where the dope boys was who got 9mm and who got illegal guns that can shoot back? Why didn't he go over there?
Because they got just as much firepower as he was coming with.
Exactly, bro. So this is not a gun problem. This is a mental ill problem. This is politicians trying to make it sound like they doing their job by making it sound like, oh, one side of the track being Republicans don't want to sign this because they want to be in power. The other ones and the Republicans are saying they just don't want to lose their constitutional. Do everybody understand that the Constitution is for everyone? So when someone's arguing the Constitution, they're arguing for you as well. They're not just saying, hey, I'm a white boy and I'm supposed to be able to do what the hell I want to do. They're saying Americans, the constitutional rights are for us. Number 2 is for everybody. But y'all want to put the white boy face on that argument, and it's not right, especially when you live in a black neighborhood predominantly driven by crime. You don't think Miss Louise want her motherfucking gun in her house for protection when she around all these dope activity and all that old shit? Stop being selfish. Stop listening to these politicians. The bottom line is we all need protection from somebody. No matter how strict these gun laws get, criminals are going to get guns. They're going to get guns just like dope dealers get dope.
Right. And there's like I posted earlier today, the barn door is already open and has been open and the horse has left the barn.
Right.
It's too late to incorporate any of these knee-jerk reactions that people want to do.
Right. You're right, AP.
It's too late for that.
So what do you think the solution is? Don't you think we need to harden up some of these soft targets?
So like I said, yeah, of course.
There you go.
I mean, especially the schools, because we can't keep losing babies like this. And it would be no problem for like I said, for the TSA, if they're government jobs, why can't the government have security at these schools with some veterans that have this kind of training that can do the job?
Because I can answer that, and I agree with you, but I can give you a chaos agent's answer to what you just said. Our kids don't need to be around all them damn police. Don't you hear that now? When there's SROs at the school, they say they escalate problems. They escalate.
And if you talk about SROs, I think their role in the school should be a little more refined than it is. You shouldn't call a SRO because you got a child who don't want to do their homework or gave you some mouth.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they do that.
There's a specific job that these guys should have. All of them, SROs up to if you want to have federal security at schools, and that should be their only purpose.
Well, you know what? I look at an SRO.
And they don't have to. I mean, and they don't have to actually be in the school. You can put them on the perimeter.
Right.
They don't have to actually be in the school with the kids. You can put them on the perimeters outside, where, the kids might only see them when they go out for recess. They don't have to be walking around in the school.
Well, I can tell you right now that you're gonna get pushback on that as well, because you already got people saying dumb shit like this. AP, just hear me out on this, man. It's not my way. I just hear it. I'm a sponge to how people are and the information I get over the period of time. And I just want to repeat something that I heard probably a year ago. I got this memory that brings shit up. It'll bring up things that people said that's relevant to now. And that's this. I remember when a school in Cincinnati opened up and they took pictures, and there were people complaining that this school was it looked too much like a prison on the inside, and it was a pipeline to the prison is what they were trying to say because of the visual of it. It looked like a prison. Remember that? And I think it was like Winton Woods or one of them schools, and it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And you know what? I never heard anybody say that shit about a university, because universities are somewhat the same way. They have halls at the University of Ohio State that look just like Winton Woods and all these other high schools. I never hear that philosophy. I never hear that complaint from institutions. And from people about institutions. Most institutions have a structured way of flowing, whether it's a correctional institution or a school. They're structured that way on purpose. And I don't understand how people, they'll find a reason to complain about anything, AP. So when you say putting guards perimeter around the building, you're going to have some chaos agents that's going to say that sound like they just trying to keep our kids in there. And the shit I can't even think of the shit they going to say. I can think of some of the things that they could potentially say, but my mind don't think like it looked like Iraq over there. They got our kids under lock and key. It looked like Lebanon Penitentiary over there with the guards all standing outside. They got our kids on lockdown. That's what they gonna say.
Well, people gotta ask themselves: do you want your kid to be safe, or do you want to be going to a funeral next week?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
So let me ask you this, AP. Do you have an issue with them would you have an issue with the schools allowing teachers to carry firearms?
I have it has to be done in a very strategic manner. You can't say we're going to send you to a range for a couple of weeks and now we're going to give you a gun. Now, you tell me that you got a vet that's an ex-teacher, a vet that's now a teacher who has some background in that and everything. I can roll with that right off the bat. But if you're talking about the average person even with somebody who might be a gun enthusiast and they do competitions and stuff like that, I can't even go with that person. But the average person that's had no training with guns at all, and now you want to send them to a 2-week course and say, okay, now you got this gun, that's a little sketchy for me.
I think to be fair, I think that it would definitely deserve more attention than a 2-week or like a 6-hour class. I think it would definitely require more than that, because the liability of a gun being in the school, I think the school would require. I think that whole setup has to require more attention than just a 6-hour gun class, because that's not really training on situational training. That's learning how to clean the gun, load the gun, and all that. I'm talking about if these teachers during the summer go to situational training with weapons, I think that would be sufficient. And let me just say this last thing. Now, that school that has armed teachers, not every teacher is going to participate. Not every teacher is going to have a gun, but them students don't know. Nobody knows who's really carrying the gun but the officials of the school. And here's the other thing. Now that school is no longer a soft target. That's the more important thing. An active shooter will definitely pick a different target if he or she know when going in that school, it's a potential that they're going to get some blowback.
And another part of it is that people are saying, that's totally false, because they're not in the game as far as firearms, or they just don't do any research. well, handgun wouldn't stop somebody with body armor, this and that. There are some handguns out there
Yes, it will.
that the ammunition does penetrate body armor.
Yes, it
That's,
will.
so when people, they get in their feelings and they just come up with all this stuff. And unless you got all the information, like you say sometimes, you can't just make a knee-jerk judgment when you don't really know what you're talking about.
Well, when that's why I say this, AP, and I know here, much love and much respect to you because you support not just us here, you support everybody, okay? And I know you listen to.
We all black.
Exactly, bro. And I appreciate you.
We might go in different directions, but we all family.
Exactly. But here's what I have a problem with sometimes. It's the fact that sometimes when you're in a position to actually not necessarily always educate, but I call it a disservice when you misinform people or when you talk to people and you say things and you're not giving them the full truth or you're not telling them what they really need to know. You really just trying to hold their attention to make them, you bartending. You giving them what they want to hear to keep them, entertained. And I got a problem with that when you're using misinformation to entertain people. And then the blowback, the pushback is they walk away with an attitude out here and not understand like the gun shit that we talking about.
I won't call everybody a chaos agent.
Not everybody.
Speaking from their point of view, and they don't really, just like their audience, they don't have all the information or take time to research. I mean, these stories come out overnight, and it's just the topic of the day, and they're commenting on it, and it's their opinion.
But there's a level. There's a level of responsibility.
I'm not going to call them. I won't label anybody a chaos agent.
I will. That's for me to do. That's for me to do.
Opinions.
Yeah, but hold up. Why give hold on? If you have a congregation at a church, if you're the preacher and somebody just whispers something in your ear and you don't have all the information, do you start talking to the congregation about what you just heard? Don't you have a responsibility to tell your people, if you're not sure Miss Louise just passed, don't you think you should wait and get the proper information before you tell the congregation, well, I just got word Miss Louise died, so let's get this plate passed around? Don't you think it's a level of responsibility for people? Y'all think it's a responsibility for a NFL player or an NBA player to push a certain narrative when he's a professional football player? If he has the attention of our people, he has a level of responsibility to make sure that he don't just say any dumb shit out his mouth out here, because there is a level of responsibility that comes along with being, admired, respected, all of that. It's like how they coming down on Herschel Walker right now. The only reason why they saying that shit about him is because he black.
Well, when you brought up Herschel, now I've listened to Herschel doing some interviews, and I've read some things and publications from interviews, and Herschel says some stupid ass shit.
He probably do.
And I think I put him, and I ain't talking about his color or nothing like that, but as a politician, Herschel says some stupid ass shit, and I think he's dumb as whether he's white or black. When a politician says some stupid ass shit, they dumb as hell.
Okay.
When some of the shit come, I mean, I've heard white politicians say,
there you go.
"Oh, if you're getting raped, just try to lay back and enjoy it."
Right.
What the fuck is that?
You're right. They all say some dumb shit. No, you're good.
If it's dumb as hell, it's just dumb as hell. That's ain't no other way around it.
Man, you just made me put the advisory thing up on there. I forgot all about that. I had to go back to let me pop it up a few more times. I'm gonna flash it on the screen right there. Parental advisory. AP on here. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
It ain't got nothing to do with Herschel's color. To me, it's just he said some dumb stuff. It's just just like some other politicians. I don't care about color, but when you say when some garbage come out your mouth, it's just garbage. And with that kind of attitude, you should not be trying to have any position of authority, because that's I I got 3 daughters. I would never tell one of my daughters, hey, if you get attacked, baby, just lay back and try to enjoy it. That's
Right.
no.
But don't you think?
Hear that. I'm
Don't,
a daddy. No.
right.
No.
Right, right. But don't you think that when you have a group of people that follow you and listen to you, that there's a level of responsibility that you make sure you schooling them or telling them something that's proper and not leading them down? That, I mean, just think about, what would you say about a cult leader who has a bunch of people listening to him and he says, all right, we all going to eat these mushrooms. They're going to kill us in 3 hours. You would call those people foolish, wouldn't you? He has a group of people. Go ahead.
But at the same time, I look at radio as a little bit different. Like I said, they go with the head. Most radio go with the headlines of the day, so they ain't got time to. I mean, they're really, to me, I take it with a grain of salt because they're just speaking from their point of view, their opinion.
Right, I know. And I know.
Now, if you now when I look at a seasoned reporter who's supposed to be an in-depth reporter, I expect that out of you.
Well, let me just say this for the record, AP. You were on yesterday. You were listening yesterday. You were sending over information, and I appreciate it as we were going. You were giving me information about how many were shot, how many were killed, how many kids, how many adults, and I respect that and I appreciate it. But I didn't talk about it. I just brought it to the people's attention and said, hey, we have another mass shooting going down in Texas right now. Looks like about 15. You see, I was giving you what you got, but I didn't give no opinions. And I didn't give any details because I didn't have it. If I don't have details and I don't have any facts, I leave the subjects alone. Because if you don't, that means you got to elaborate. You got to make up shit to get you going. And if I got to start making up shit for people to listen to me and then adding the colors in black and white and this and this and this and that means I'm just using all that shit as a tool to keep your attention. And that's something we need to stay away from.
But like you said, it also falls on individual listeners too. To just like you said in church. Yeah, you can go to church and listen to a pastor, but it's still up to you to read the Bible and interpret the word for yourself.
I agree.
The pastor might not be right all the time.
I agree. I think I used the pastor.
You got to go back and do he said this, he interpreted it that way, but I'm reading it and I see it this way.
I agree. I think we used the pastor analogy yesterday. I agree totally with what you just said. And I just think that we have to, and in order to get over certain situations, in order to be successful at whatever task you're trying to complete, you have to have the real information. I'm not even talking about massive shooters. I'm talking about anything in business. Go into a meeting with misinformation. Go into a meeting or go to school, take a test, and you studied the wrong. Take your test, take your algebra study card into your Spanish class and see what happened. Chances are, you see what I'm saying? I'm just saying we have to be more informed and have real information if we're ever going to solve a problem. Just like now, everybody's talking about legislation on the guns. So legislation on the guns, let's get back to that a little bit because you're a gun guy. You telling me that legislation on these guns is going to stop these guys from going in and shooting soft targets. You don't think that same AR-15 that kid bought over the counter could be bought on the street? Could be bought by a friend, could be bought in the black market. That's what you're trying to tell me? You see what I'm saying, AP? No, you know them guns could be bought.
I hear what you're saying, but I do believe, again, that there are some laws on the books that need to be tightened up. There are some laws that can be put in place because, it's convenient to be able to get called in 5 minutes and, walk out the store with whatever I just purchased. But even if I have to wait 30 days for you to do a full background check on my mental history, on any posts that I might have put up or anything like that, and I got to wait 30 days. Me waiting 30 days for the weapon that I want to purchase ain't gonna kill me. It's
I agree. I agree. However, the kids on the street, these guys on the street are not waiting 30 days to get their gun. They not waiting 30 days.
Even when it comes to the private seller stuff. If my neighbor next door had a weapon that he was selling, I don't think I should just be able to hand him $400 and say, transaction completed. We should have to go to because that weapon is registered to the original owner.
Right.
So we should have to go to a brick and mortar. It might cost another $25 for them to want to do the paperwork and call in for you to get the background check. But as a buyer, if I want that weapon that bad enough, I'll pay for that weapon.
Right. I understand.
I'll pay for that check. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like I said, there are some things that need to be tightened up, and some things I think they can put in place that will help shore up. The cats on, and the other part of it, you got, like you said, there are people out here who legally carry and haven't done anything, but they fall short in the way they secure their weapons. You got people who leave their weapons in their car overnight. Cars get broken into. People who keep their weapons in their house don't have safes. Houses get broken into.
Mm-hmm.
So
let me ask you.
There's a lot of responsibility to go around.
Speaking
of fault to go around.
Speaking of that, AP, if I'm not mistaken, that happened to a current sheriff in the city of Cincinnati. Her car was broken into, and her gun was in the car. So I mean, that gun is on the streets. That gun could possibly is out there, probably defending some dope dealer. It's probably been sold 5 times by now, 5 or 6 times by now. And those are your problems right there. It's not, I mean, you get more illegal guns on the street than you do people that are going to buy guns at gun shows and over-the-counter guns causing problems. Think about that. There's more guns there's 20 million AR-15s out there. There are not 20 million problems out here with AR-15s.
And then we had a local sheriff who was using guns that were confiscated. He was taking the guns, his department, he was purchasing guns for the department, but giving them to a local dealer who was selling them. So there's a lot of things that are going on that it's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like I told you, I'm gonna kind of go back to the beginning of what I said. The solution to this problem is not all that shit that people are pump faking, grandstanding, trying to sound like it's somebody else's fault. It's legislation and all this. The bottom line is massive shooters generally target soft targets. When we can reduce the level of soft targets, then we will have a better handle. I mean, they will have to think about what they're doing before they actually do it. Instead of planning something, they'll maybe have to contemplate, should I even do this? Because if I go into the gun shop, like I said, they don't go to the target range and shoot up the target range. When was the last time you heard that? When was the last time you heard a massive shooter go to a target range?
That ain't happening because everybody in there got something.
That's what I'm saying.
That
but you're gonna go jump on 4 or 5 elderly black women at the grocery store during midday, knowing that ain't gonna be no blowback. When was the last time they walked into a police station and just start open shooting?
There have been people. There have been a few incidents.
Well, not massive, not going in, not doing the same type of stuff. There's usually some issues at a particular police station. I've heard of some police shootings at the police station, but that was because something broke out there. I'm talking about how many people have sat out playing like they play in the grocery store, the library, the movie theater, all these little places, man. These guys are calculated in where they pick, and it's usually soft targets. And they do that because they know no one's going to shoot back.
They take the path of least resistance.
There you go. So I say, look at this kid. He hit an elementary school, bro. He hit an elementary school. Who was going to shoot back at him? Right. Who was going to shoot back at him? He had no resistance.
Right.
So, I mean, we got to understand that you're not dealing with mentally, you're not dealing with people that are right. These people are mentally ill. And regardless of what you do with these gun laws, regardless of what background checks you have people check or do, these same people will still be able to get the same weapon that they want. That's just how it is. There's always going to be a black market for everything.
And I tell people, too, don't fall for the AR-15 thing. It's because I posted earlier today a picture of 2 rifles. Both use the same ammunition. Mm-hmm. But one, they don't look like each other, but one is considered for hunting, and the other is the dreaded AR-15.
Okay.
So if you take the AR-15 away, then you still got this hunting rifle that can do the same thing.
I got you.
So where does it end?
So let me ask you this, AP. Educate me on this, brother, because I really don't know, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. With this gun law, or I shouldn't say would, I should ask you this like this. I should say, if this legislation that they want passed to move forward, if that was to kick in tomorrow, would it stop the shootings in Chicago? Would it reduce the shootings that's going on in the streets, or would it be more relevant to the massive shootings that this is an opinion I'm sure that you're going to give me. Do you think it'll stop the shootings in the streets, or it'll be more effective with the massive shootings that happen at the grocery store, the soft target spots? What do you think?
Now, are you talking just about the banning of AR-15s, or assault style weapons?
No, because that's not the problem in the hood. That's not the problem out in the streets. Are all the assault weapons? We had a kid that got shot in the back of the head at Walmart in broad daylight. That was not an assault rifle. That was a gun like they have out here on the streets. You see what I'm saying? A regular tuck gun. Yeah. So I'm asking, do you think that they'll stop breaking in stores and doing armed robberies if this legislation was to kick in? Because that most of the guns that's on the streets that's used in crimes where I live and where I'm from, AR-15s and M16s and all that shit are not in play. It's usually handheld guns, and it's dope dealer guns. It's 38s, 9mm Glocks, and all that type of shit. And that's not even what the legislation is about. It's not trying to keep guns out of criminal hands. It's trying to keep people from buying guns legitimately. Most criminals already have a background, and they can't get the guns in the first place. So how do you think they getting all these handguns? They won't qualify. They won't qualify.
This kind of legislation is not going to stop what's going on out there. And when people say, well, you don't need these kind of rifles, there are handguns that have clips made for them that hold 30 rounds.
I understand. You're right.
You can buy a magazine, or you can buy a drum style magazine that has 50 to 60, that holds 50 to 60 rounds for a handgun.
Right. But I think people are really missing. I think they're putting the whole legislation thing and making it sound a little bit more juicy or attractive than it really is. Because what I'm telling you is, even with laws that are in place right now in the strictest states in America, one being New York, one being Illinois, one being California, strictest laws have some of the highest gun violence. So it's not the laws that's going to stop people from committing crimes with guns. They're doing it anyway. You're trying to tell me that background checks are going to slow down people from getting guns. And it's not. That's a ridiculous way of looking at it when it's already proven that you can't get a gun now with a bad background check. If you got felonies on your record, you can't get a gun legally, right? So how are these guys that are already illegal or not eligible to get a gun, how are they getting guns now anyway? How are they getting theirs?
Well, and we do have people who, I believe some things some people don't agree with death penalty stuff and like that. But I believe, you got guys out here because you can buy parts and put them together yourself. And
makeshift guns.
And we got some cats out here, white and black, who are doing that, and they're selling them to guys. So, even when I look at it, when stuff like that is traced back to you, you're gonna go to jail for life, or if they want to make it the death penalty. I have no problem with that. Now, me personally, I don't have a problem with that.
So you think the kid? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro. You think the kid that shot up the grocery store in Buffalo, you believe he should get the death penalty for what he did?
I personally think he do. Regardless of, you can say he has some mental issues and that. I don't want to be paying for you, even if you get, 1 hour in the yard out of your day. Right. I don't think you should be here. This is my personal opinion.
I respect your opinion. I agree with it as well. But I understand people that don't like the death penalty. But what I want everybody to do is get in a room with the victim's family and let's hear how they feel about the death penalty and why they feel that way. I've never been a victim of a crime or of something like that. My grandmother was not in that grocery store. Okay, I'm sure I would feel a little bit different than how I feel. I'm open-minded to the fact that this kid could possibly get the death penalty, and if he doesn't, I would be okay with it. If he does, I would be okay with it. But if my grandmother was in that store, I'm sure I would sway one way over the other. You see what I'm saying? I know I would. I know I would. I know I would feel a different way. Or if
But
my daughter,
I also look at it too. We're not gonna stop all the crime, but I do think there are things you can do that we can do to curb it. You know, and that's if we can save one child, I look at that as a victory. It's just in my opinion.
right? I agree. Well, I'll say this to you, AP. We do agree. I thank you, brother, for coming on and being with me and not being, this is day 3 of this week. The first 2 days, bro, it's been rough for the brother. Hey, man, can I ask you a question?
Like I said, yesterday I was trying to have you back in the chat, but I also enjoyed just watching you sweat too. I just
Sweat.
It was funny. It was funny to me.
That wasn't sweat, bro. Those was tears. That was tears, bro. That wasn't sweat. Shit, I got a rag for my sweat. That wasn't sweat. That was me trying. Bro, did you see me dodging and weaving, bro? I was dodging and weaving, and I was saying the same shit 3 different ways. And I just. Why didn't you come to my back, bro? Why didn't you have my back, bro? Why couldn't you just answer the question on the screen and be like, yeah, well, maybe you would. Would you date a woman if you, I don't know your age and it don't matter right now, but when you was 30 years old, I'm assuming you're over 30 because you can relate to all the shit I talk about. When you were 30 years old, 35 years old, and you was looking for a woman, would it be a woman with 6 kids with 6 different baby daddies? Can I get the answer from you? Would that be something that would toot your horn?
Not for me, because I'll be looking at you like you make bad choices.
Okay,
and
there you go.
I can't be shallow with somebody who makes bad choices.
All right, you don't care for people. You don't care about women. That's what I was told.
That's what you said. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
hey.
And I did put in the chat also that there's fault on both sides.
Absolutely.
It's not just a man thing,
Absolutely.
Women, you got, after, like you said, after 1 or 2, okay, you say, okay, you need to step back and reevaluate the way you approaching your relationship, But if you get up to 5, 6 different baby daddies, you just continuously making bad. No.
Well, let me play devil's advocate, but this is a real situation. Let me say this as well. The man who dates a woman that has 5 kids with 5 different women, if you don't think you're gonna be number 6, you bear the same irresponsibility that she bears of having 5 on 5 babies with 5 different daddies. I don't even know why you standing in line. You standing in line just like this to be number 6. You standing in line.
Another thing the sister said too about, a woman with 6 kids and 6 baby daddies holding it down. No, usually the taxpayers is holding it down for her. She gets
I didn't want to go there, bro. I didn't. Jesus, it was tough enough, AP. If I had y'all niggas on my side and I felt it, I'd have went all the way down to the gutters. I would have went all the way down there. I promise you, I would have.
I put that in the chat, bro.
I didn't see it. I promise you.
I wasn't able to call in here, but
oh
I put
my
it in the chat.
God, I needed some help because, bro, I needed somebody to trigger that part. Like, wait a minute, you telling me this lady that got 6 kids with 6 different daddies, she holding it down, huh? No help. She holding it down, right? Okay, yeah. We holding it down. I didn't want to go there, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you said it.
I put it in the chat. I wasn't able to call in, but I did put it in the chat.
Well, Drop 52 on here from California. He says 6 babies held to the now, but hey, where was his ass at yesterday? See, this is what y'all do. You call today, got my back, bro. I got your back, bro. The dust all clear and shit. No more smoke around. So now y'all show up. Get off my phone line, AP. We done, bro. You should have been there for me yesterday.
Have a good evening, brother.
All right, brother. Take it. Much love to you, man. Thanks for the support, AP. Thanks, bro. All right. That's AP, man. That's my guy. Super hella nice guy. Supportive. I love the fact that not only does he support me, he supports everybody. That's fair. There's some people that say some shit like this. They'll say something like this. Y'all know somebody like this too. Man, why you like them? Why you like them, man? You must not like me. You can't like me and like them. You ever had a friend? You ever known somebody is like, look, man, I know you and him don't get along, bro, but me and him been cool a long time. And if y'all don't get along, that don't mean I don't like you. We all cool, bro. You ain't got to be cool with dude, okay? But me and you got a different relationship that I have with him. Can we just keep it at, and there's some people that just ain't having it. Oh no, you rock with him, I can't rock with you. That's the dumbest shit in the world. Yo beef with him, now it's different if we sandboxes. It's different if we sandboxes and I know that you done did my man wrong, you done did him dirt, you done drug him, you done did whatever you had to do, and now you rocking with me. First of all, if I known you did that to him, I'm probably not dealing with somebody like that. But I had a situation, I'll keep 100 with you. I had a situation where I had one friend, and I knew him and his woman when we were younger. And my other buddy from another neighborhood start rocking with dude's girlfriend when they broke up, when they were done and over with. They didn't want it. They ain't wanting each other no more. So my one buddy, who don't really know him, start rocking with his girlfriend. They don't know each other. And my dude get mad at the other dude. Now he looking at me like I got to pick and choose who I need to be friends with. That makes no sense. You don't like him because of some shit that y'all beefing with about the female, but I'm supposed to be like trying to pick and choose which one of y'all I'm about to be cool with. I can't do that. That's too much. That's some childish shit. You got people out there like that, grown people, that do shit like that. Craziness. Ah, man. So the reason why I say that is because of this. AP supports everyone, and I support him for supporting everyone. I've never, I sometimes hear and read some of the comments they make about other shit, and I'll be like, where's that energy over here? We need that energy over here, AP. We need that same energy that you spitting over there. We need that over here, bro. I might say something like that, but I ain't mad. There's some people that watch Wyatt-Live, that watch other shows, call in over there, and don't call in over here. Don't say shit. I'm okay with that. I used to be in my feelings about it. Oh, I used to be in my feelings. I couldn't wait for all of the controversy, the chaos agents to call me. And then I got a taste of a few of them. And I was like, oh shit. This is tough. It's tough to have conversations with chaos agents sometimes. Not because they challenge me. Not that. I can handle the challenge. It's just that sometimes they say some of the dumbest shit in the world that you have a hard time staying focused. Like, you don't want that kind of smoke. Like, I don't want to have a redundant conversation. I don't want to have a conversation where it sounds like there's no way you're ever going to get on the same page with someone. You know, I told you. My 2 + 2 is a different conversation. It ain't 4 to everybody. It's 4, but it ain't like they 3 + 1. They 3 + 1 is 4. But they got a reason to be mad because I used 2 and 2. My 2 and this 2 make 4. That ain't 4 wide. That ain't 4. That ain't 4 wide. I just went through it this week. That ain't 4. 3 and 1 is 4. But wait a minute. Aren't both of them 4? It's like a battle. Some people they have selective hearing. They don't even hear what you're saying. If you don't say it identically, how they say it, if you don't say things the way they say it, they just don't comprehend it because you got to be argumentative. They just want to argue with you. Just want to argue. Have no room to try to compromise your point and say, hey, I kind of see it that way. I can see it that way a little bit. I think so. Let me see. We got some conversation going on here. Let me see what you got. Been about that check says, Darlita Hill, you do everything to disagree. Look up the definition for rise. Oh, they going at it. All right, let me see. Been about this check. And then, let's see. Delita says, been about that check, Jones, whatever. Trump's a racist. Down and his Jim Jones followers can drink the Kool-Aid and maybe bleach nowadays. Oh shit, y'all having a conversation I ain't trying to get into. Drop Squad don't understand my analogy of 2 + 2 and 4, and my 3 + 1 is 4. You had to be here earlier, Drop. I had to tell you that sometimes we come up with the same bottom line, Well, you were here. I think you were listening. I think you tuned out when it started getting repetitive. When it was the dog chasing the tail and the hamster on the wheel, I think you kind of tuned out. You're a smart brother, so you're not going to sit here and listen to me ring around the rosy, so to speak. You're not going to do that. I get it. Well, let me just go back to what I was saying about this shooting. I'm glad AP called in because he made it make sense a little bit better than I did. And that was the school teacher thing, needing training. I never brought that to the table, but that was just me assuming that you ain't gonna let Miss Jones in the English class just show up with a 9 one day. Not with the liabilities of the kids, being in the schools. I would think that there would be a specific training for school teachers to carry guns. And I think you have to reduce. I told you I have a solution to the problem of massive shootings. And that is you have to reduce the number of soft targets. Everywhere that they're shooting these days, soft targets. Now, everything that people are saying, like Delita Hill says something, it's right on point, sis. But I can already tell you how a chaos agent gonna see what you talking about. Maybe hire more security. So if you put more security in a school, what are some of the chaos agents gonna say? You can't even put one police officer in the school without them saying some shit about this is a prison pipeline. Putting those SROs, all they do is escalate the problem. I don't know if you reduce the entries of a school, put a school police officer at the front door like they do in New York. You don't see New York school shootings anymore. You got to go to the subways for that shit. But let's be honest, let's be fair. You have to reduce the level of soft targets. Most massive shooters shoot places that aren't going to shoot back. Grocery stores, elementary schools, parties in Las Vegas from the rooftop. They shoot innocent people. When was the last time, I'll say this again, some people just getting in. When was the last time you seen a massive shooting at a firing range? When was the last time you seen a massive shooting go into a police station or go in somewhere where they know some blowback can come at them? You don't. They always pick soft targets. So now, without legislation and violating people's rights, constitutional rights and all that old shit, we have to do what we used to do back in the old days. Everybody got to protect themselves. And when you start doing certain things that get into people's lives, like everyone who has a gun in this country, to be honest with you, I'm just got to be dirty with it. I got to be very, very honest. There are people in this world, in the United States of America, who don't qualify to have a gun because of something that they did in the past. Well, to be honest with you, I feel like if they're regular citizens and living by laws and doing what they need to do, they still have the right to defend themselves. They really do. Dude did something 30 years ago. He can't get a gun. So how is he supposed to protect his family 30 years later because he caught a dope case in 1985? Now he can't get a gun because of some shit back in 1985. But now he working over at GE, respectful salary, and he got a daughter and a son and a wife, and he can't have a gun in his home because he can't pass a background check. That's not fair. Not everybody that has a criminal record is a criminal for the rest of their life. That's not fair. That's not right. So to make it tough for regular citizens, to make it tough for regular citizens out here to protect themselves is doing a disservice to this country. That's just my opinion. You're doing a disservice when you make it difficult for regular citizens because the knuckleheads who have weapons and gonna use weapons anyway, whether they have a clean slate record, criminal background, or a messed up one. Do you think, how many guys on the street out there that you see these shootings going on, how many of them you think got a clean record? How many of them do you think will pass a background check? Not many of them will pass a background check, right? But they getting weapons anyway. They still gonna do what they gonna do. Most of them have what they call, if they get caught with a weapon, they'll catch a weapons under disability charge because they're a convicted felon and they're not even supposed to have a weapon. And they know it. Go down to Hamilton County and look at all of the charges that are being put on guys with guns. They all, majority of them, you ain't got to believe me. Call your local attorney that you cool with in your family. The majority of them will get a gun spec charge and a weapons under disability charge. These are guys that can't pass a background check and they ain't got no business having a gun, and they pick up an additional charge. And the feds came into Cincinnati last summer, gave $1.3 million to Cincinnati, and added additional charges, federal charges on all gun charges. How did that work out? We exceeded our homicide by like 2 or 3 killings last year, even with the feds coming in. So it don't matter what the legislation is. Rules will be broken regardless of what the laws are. Look at New York. Look at Illinois. Look at California. Stop focusing in on the shit they want you to pay attention to. It's not the legislation. It's not Republicans won't sign because they want to stay in power. And now you focused on some dumb shit like, well, you know, the Republicans are the Democrats. You focused on the wrong shit. That's where they always, you know, it's 3-card Molly. I'm going to steal this nigga money because he looking over here. I'm going to make him look where I want him to look. 3-card Molly. I'm going to get votes. I'm going to get ratings. Steve Kerr said this the craziest shit. When we going to do something? Steve, they shooting and killing out in San Francisco. Stay in Golden State. Stay out there in San Francisco and ask your governor when y'all going to start doing some shit out in California. Stop grandstanding, bro. You don't even know what the fuck you talking about. Now, I know a lot of people sitting here thinking Steve Kerr is the savior, but Steve Kerr ain't said shit about Chicago. He ain't said nothing about nothing. But all of a sudden, he wants to be the white shadow, the great white hope, to come in and say something because a group of elementary school Latino kids got shot up by a Latino. Do we put a color on that? Do we put a color on that? How does it sound now? You got a Latino kid who goes in and shoots up Latino kids. I know y'all wanted it to be white. I know y'all, the first thing you heard when you heard Texas, without one of these bartenders telling you, like I told you yesterday, I said, look, I don't have enough information on this. I'm just reading the information that's being brought to me. I'll read it on the screen, but I'm not going to elaborate on it because I don't know the information. And chaos agents, stay off of here. Don't tell me it was white person, black person. None of that shit matters. I don't have the information, so I'm not going to elaborate on it. That's what I said. I wasn't going to sit here and serve you no drinks. Get y'all up. But you must admit, you got to admit, when you heard another shooting, days or a week after this grocery store shooting, first thing came to your mind was, man, you know it's a white person. That's what they do. You know that's what you was thinking. Especially Texas. Well, you were wrong. Latino kid shot up a Latino school. And now the politicians have to go to the legislation game of gun laws. They ain't screaming like that when 462, when 18 people get shot, because we had 460 something for the whole year so far in Chicago. That's the war zone. But they ain't saying that shit after a weekend of 18 to 19 people being shot in a weekend in Chicago. Steve Kerr don't stand up. That's the coach for the Golden State Warriors. He don't stand up and say, when we gonna get something taken care of? Your whole team black, bro. You got what, two or three white guys on your team. But you don't say, and you don't stand up and say all this shit when the guys in Chicago getting shot up. You don't say all that shit when all those black kids and black guys are getting shot up out in California. You grandstanding. You just trying to make it seem like you been coach your team, bro. Do what you do. Win the West, and then try to get another ring. But the shit that y'all do, don't be a spokesperson for the gun game. Don't do that. You don't even understand what it is. So you trying to tell me if that legislation passes tomorrow, they're going to erase all the AR-15s out of the world, out of the United States, and they're going to make people take background checks, and then the crime is all going to stop. They're going to make it more difficult for regular citizens to get a weapon. Once again, you have two type of people in this world. You got reactive people and you got progressive people. You got people who deal with the shit afterwards, and then you get people who deal with things before things actually happen. And I'll say this, and it don't please me to say this because I'm not trying to take any power or anything out of what happened at the grocery store. The shooting. I'm not trying to take anything, but this is not happening every day. There are more responsible people in this country with guns than there are irresponsible people. And once again, what you're trying to do is say everybody in the classroom, we stand after school, we go into detention because Wyatt came in late today. Wyatt was the class clown, or everybody on the football team, we running extra laps after practice because Wyatt missed his blocking assignment. Wyatt couldn't make his assignment, so the whole team gonna get punished. Wyatt can't hit his free throws in practice, so everybody gonna run lines. Why am I punishing the entire team for what I do? Why? What up, Court Bird, my little brother? He says, it's funny, he constantly talks politics, but Mark Jackson lost that job for religion, not even during press-related events in off time. Well, you know how that go. You'll never hear Chaos Agent go out there and support that argument right there, Court. They'll never argue that. Because first of all, they would never think of it that way, bro. That's very swift of you. Second of all, Steve Kerr is saying something that flows more over to the people that still don't know that it's not really about the legislation not being signed. I'm not supporting Republicans who are not signing a bill. I'm supporting people who are trying to protect the Constitution. And I have a problem when Americans, no matter what color you are, you don't believe that that same Constitution is for you. So if Billy Bob from deep down in Kentucky is trying to be all he can be, super duper American, and protect Constitution number 2, he's not just doing it for himself. I'm just as much of an American as he is. So that right that he's fighting for pertains to me too. I'm all for people, because here's the thing. I'm all for people being able to protect themselves. There are people that are scared to death of guns. My kids. I raised them that way. They're not scared like they won't go to the range, but they're not going to be out in the streets playing with guns. That's not what they're going to do. I raised them different. The people that are going to go out there and play with guns and use guns for the illegal activities that they're going to do that shit no matter what the legislation is. The legislation is just talk right now. It's just something to make you feel like it's somebody's fault other than the person who did what they did. My solution to the problem is very simple. If all they doing is hitting soft targets, then some of these targets have to become harder to hit. What happened in that elementary school? That if you use my philosophy, that would have never happened. It would have been too hard to accomplish. But here we are being reactive once again. And then after, you want to blame the Republicans for not signing a law. Who's to say that kid? Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you this. If you support that argument, then you also support the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse, you probably thought was an idiot who took a gun to Milwaukee, right? Because you were misinformed on that too. He didn't even buy that gun, right? He didn't buy that gun. His friend bought that gun. Y'all said he carried it from his home with his mama, got to Milwaukee, and she gave him the gun, and he got out the car, blew her a kiss, and now he went out there and been crazy with it. Once again, misinformed. He drove from where he lived, went to Milwaukee, met his friend, got his gun from his friend, and his friend is the one who bought it. Friend bought it for him. So what makes you think background checks are going to prevent that same type of behavior? Whether he was right or wrong, he wasn't old enough to have the gun, right? We're not talking about the crime. We're not talking about what actually happened. We're talking about what got to the point of making this happen. We're not talking about that. Jared says, shouldn't his friend been charged or no? Yes, his friend did get charged. See, that's another thing. Not jumping on you, Jared. I'm just saying that's a legitimate question. But here it is. When the facts come out, then you see how things really work. And then you might have a better understanding of how it played out, why it played out, who got charged, who didn't get charged. If you understood stand your ground laws, you wouldn't have had no problem with what this kid did. Just think of it. If it was my kid, if it was my daughter, first of all, she probably wouldn't have been out there. But let's just say for argument's sake, she was. If it was my daughter and she was running away from these folks, first of all, it was 3 people. One of them just got out of jail a week ago from doing 10 years, child molester. The other 2, one had a criminal record that was current, had pending charges, felony charges. The other third one, I can't remember what was going on with him, but he wasn't a nice guy either. That's what's chasing my baby, and she got a gun in her hand. I don't give a damn if it's an AR-15 or if it's a BB gun. I'm gonna tell her to squeeze, because you don't know what they're gonna do if they catch you. And y'all argue all the shit that this kid did wrong when he got chased at a Black Lives Matter rally, protest, if you want to call it that, rally/protest, and 3 white guys chase another little white guy, and y'all got a problem with this shit. It sounds like a white guy problem to me. But you have more black guys hollering, black people hollering about this shit, racist and this and this and that, and you saying that those 3 guys represented Black Lives Matter? The white kid with the skateboard down in Cincinnati, y'all know I went live on that. I grabbed him like, bro, you can't throw no fucking brick in the black-owned coffee shop window. What the fuck wrong with you, bro? We down here. You protesting Black Lives Matter and you damaging a black-owned business that's clear. You ain't from here, are you? No, man, I came down here from, I think he said Cleves or somewhere he said. It either said Cleveland or Cleves. And I'm like, what the fuck you doing here? Paid chaos agent. Paid protester. They prepared for chaos. Got milk in his bag, bricks in his backpack, down here to tear up shit. For what? These people are chaos agents put in place to stir up shit, keep shit going. And we don't see it. We don't see it. Go back and Google summer of 2020. How about now that we got a clear mind? Everybody removed from 2020 protests, right? Everybody removed. Nobody. We know about it. We know what happened. But what I want you to do on your own time, just go back and Google 2020 protests or Black Lives Matter protests, be specific. Black Lives Matter protest 2020. And what I want you to look at is look at who was actually in these protests. Look at the signs that were being held up and look at the people in the crowd. Pay close attention. You know, I do homework assignments every once in a while. Just pay attention. And one other thing is, most of the people that were doing protests in major cities didn't even live there. They didn't even live in that city. Most of the people that came down that night in Cincinnati, when they did that protest around, since they walked from downtown up through Clifton, most of those people wasn't even from Cincinnati. Why were they here? But go in, Google the protest of 2020, the summer, Black Lives Matter, Google those, and then when you Google it, don't pull up articles. In the little mark, hit images. Hit images, not news, not details. Hit the images so all the pictures will pop up. And I want you to go through all the pictures and, take your time. Enjoy them. And you tell me what seems to be common in all those pictures. And you ask yourself, if that many white folks think that Black Lives Matter, why is it still so fucked up in America for black people? That's what I have to ask. Wait a minute. That's a whole line of white people right there holding up signs. Black Lives Matter. Blah, blah. They hollering all that shit. But we've been hollering that for 30 years. But now here go the end of the 30 years. The end of the 30 years, 40 years of hollering that shit. We got all these white people in Black Lives Matter protesting where they work. They can't hook you up with a job. They can't get you promoted. You sitting here believing that all these white people right here actually believe Black Lives Matter. You don't see a play? You think these are genuine motherfuckers that's out here doing this shit? Now, if you're a white guy or a girl, my apologies if it sound like I'm going in on you because you truly might believe that Black Lives Matter. But generally, the ones that really support black people do it through a different kind of action. They don't usually do shit like that. It's no different. You can always tell somebody that don't like you when you black because of their actions. Not necessarily what they say. It's the lack of action. But let's just be real. You don't have to believe me. Research it yourself. Come up with your own conclusion. Your conclusion and your research may say, Wyatt, you wrong. I don't see it that way. I see a whole bunch of black folks out there and a sprinkled in group of white people. That's what I see. But I seen some of the same people. I seen some of the same people at every protest, no matter what the fuck the protest was about. I seen the same people at the budget protest for the city of Cincinnati City Council when they had it at the Duke Energy. The same people last week that was screaming Black Lives Matter, Black Lives, drew the bullhorn. They showed up 2 weeks later down at the Duke Energy with the same chaos, saying some different shit. I think they fill out applications to be chaos agents. I think they fill out applications to be fucking protesters. Do you really think that those trucks down at Breonna Taylor's trial, when the AG came out with their not filing any federal charges on any of the police officers, you just think that those signs and shit magically appeared in U-Haul trucks? That takes money. Somebody supported that rally. Let me tell you what happened. I know y'all don't want to hear this shit. Somebody invested money into that chaos. And the return was heavy. Now, y'all might not believe me and you might not care. You may think I'm on some bullshit. But the truth of the matter is, I see a play. I seen a play. I seen a whole lot of money invested in chaos that was not really meant for any change. The return was going to be a cash payout. And it's been the people at BLM already admitted that they were getting a lot of white guilt money. So once a few checks came in, you put your foot on, it's all gas, no brakes. Fuck this shit. Let me call up the squad. We about to go to Detroit and protest. We hitting Cincinnati. We hitting such and such. We going to turn the gas up on this shit. We're going to turn the gas up on this one. And hit that Breonna Taylor shit that they got going on down in Louisville. The only difference is them Louisville Negroes was on some real shit. I rock with Louisville. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. They kicked all the fake motherfuckers up out of there. Real live dope ass black folks in Louisville. Say what you want to say about the Ville. But one thing I can tell you is that they got some stand up dope ass people in Louisville who said, nah, don't come down here. Y'all didn't give a shit about Breonna Taylor. We've been out in these streets for the last 3 months. Now, Crump and all the rest of y'all want to show up now that we got national coverage on this thing. We've been down here fighting. Y'all didn't really care. Now you want to care because CBS, NBC, CNN, and all these other places coming down here. Now y'all care. Get y'all asses out of here. And I heard that being told to Black Lives Matter members, members or protesters, white and black. And then I also heard them tell that to a group of people. They were white guys it was white guys and girls who were providing security, they called themselves, for the city of Louisville. With the AR-15s and the M16s and all that shit, they were providing security, they said. The lady said, we don't need no security, sir. All due respect. Sister, holding it down. We don't need no security, sir. Y'all didn't care about security 3-4 months ago when the police was doing us any old kind of way down here about, nah, we can't protest for Breonna Taylor. We want justice. This is our fight now. Y'all, we don't need y'all. We don't need no protection. So if anybody ever say anything about Louisville, I got a real story to tell you. And I watched Louisville people, I watched those folks grind it and really be about it. Do your research. Do me a favor and Google or whatever, 2020 riots, 2020 protest, Black Lives Matter, and look at the pictures. Look at the images. And the biggest trial that came out of the protests, the biggest trial was a murder case that pertained to all white people. Tell me I'm wrong. Cal Rittenhouse. Tell me I'm wrong. How did that tie into the Black Lives Matter anything? Why are any of them even out there? Cal Rittenhouse was down there doing what he was doing, removing spray paint, doing all this old goofy shit. Even if he was as bad as you say he was, he didn't shoot 3 black guys. Why are you fighting and arguing? What I don't get, it's redundant. It's stupid to me to even understand how you can find an argument in all that shit. And then you mad that he beats a murder case for killing a white guy at a Black Lives Matter rally. A convicted pedophile just got out of jail, still on paper. What's wrong with us? Made it about a white boy. Made it about a young white dude. The privilege. White privilege. That's what you wanted to make it about. White privilege. Now I'm about 3 months. If I can hang with Wyatt-Live 3 more months, I'm gonna tell you the truth about the George Floyd thing. You ain't gonna like it. I might have to do this shit like in a close. I might get bombs and shit at the building when I drop this one. You ain't gonna want to hear this shit, but it's gonna make you think. So you might not want to miss it. I'm a couple 2-3 months away. I'm gonna let the shit. I don't want to be around the anniversary time. I don't want to be right around the time when the other officers are about to get sentenced or in their court dates, and I don't want to do it around that time. I want to let it blow by like I'm telling you to look at the pictures from the rallies of 2020. I kind of want to give it some distance. I want to let it breathe a little bit. And then maybe what I tell you might make some sense. I touched on it a little bit before, but just remember this. George Floyd and that police officer, Chauvin, worked together for 7 years in a nightclub. They knew each other. They knew each other. Now, one day I'm going to get into this story, and you might find it a little bit interesting, and then you might think that I'm on some other shit. But they think that about me anyway, because I'm methodical. I don't make judgment through emotion, and I don't let people cloud my judgment with emotional shit. That's sometimes in some people's world called being cold-blooded. It ain't necessarily cold-blooded. It's just being level. One of the problems I have with my children, they think I'm cold. Because when I go to a restaurant, if my shit ain't right, I ask for it to be right. I pay for a steak a certain way. Don't just sit down and then you're going to sit there. See, my children are a little bit more passive. I ordered my food a certain way. I wasn't nasty when I ordered it. I said, yes, sir. No, sir. I was cool. Hey, John, you my wait. Hey, John, all right, just bring extra bread. We cool. Medium well done. That's how I like it. Yeah, all right, John. You didn't write that shit down? I need you to write down what I want, because if it come back messed up, bro, I got a smile on my face while I'm telling him. You bring my order back wrong, John, I'm going to have a problem. Write this shit down. Don't do it off memory. I know you did that with the last crew, the last group. You probably got everything right, but I need you to write my shit down, because if you don't write it down, Johnny, I'm going to have a problem. So my children think I'm arrogant when it come down to shit like that, and I'm not necessarily arrogant because I say it with a smile on my face and I'm nice about it. The arrogance comes in when they don't do what I ask them to do, because I've been around a little bit in life, and it's like, you ever seen a mistake happen? You know a mistake gonna happen, and when you say something, like, let me just say this last thing on that. We were just, my family and I, my daughter came home from school a couple of weeks ago. We went to, what is that? I can't remember the restaurant. It's a seafood restaurant. And we were sitting there, and we had a sister as a waitress. I was loving it. And this is just, you just don't see too many brothers and sisters working in this particular restaurant. Bonefish? Yeah, Bonefish. We went to Bonefish. And I seen this couple sitting across the room, and we were sitting in like a booth. And I seen the young man come bust the table, break the table down for the next client, and he dropped the cup of water on the table, and it fell off the edge of the table and went onto their hardwood floor. No problem. They cleaning everything up, but they missed the spot on the floor. Everybody at my table, my family, you know me, they get mad at me because I say to our waitress, I say, ma'am, hey, there's a spill over there. If you don't mind, you might want to get somebody to get that up. Not only did the girl roll her eyes, my children looking at me like, why are you trying to run their business? Why are you all up in their business? I said, y'all, listen, I'm not trying to be all up in their business, but I'm sitting right here and I see water on the floor. What happens if an old lady or an old man walks by, slips and falls on that water? They gonna get sued, but more likely that person's gonna be hurt. Now, check this crazy shit out here. It wasn't 5 minutes, guys. We sitting here talking at the table, and all of a sudden we hear one of the waiters fell his ass down right where that water spilled. I look over there. Now, my family, they know I'm a Mr. Know-It-All. They can't fucking stand the fact that I was right. It wasn't a client. It wasn't a customer that fell. It was one of their own who slipped and fell on that water on the floor. Now, everybody looking at me because I'm looking back at them like, I tried to tell y'all. And the reason why I said all that is because in my family, I'm the arrogant nasty one, if you want to call, not nasty, but they don't think I'm nasty. I'm the one that speaks up and says some things. And if my food comes back wrong, I'm the type of individual that'll let the waiter know, you didn't get this right. I like it a certain way. And some of y'all already sitting here thinking that I'm probably on some asshole shit right there. But when you order pizza and you say, I want pepperoni, and they put all this other shit on there, you okay with that? Well, my daughter and them would be like, oh, okay, it's fine. A little passive. I'm like, nah, fuck that. No, we ordered a pepperoni pizza. I ordered my steak a certain way. This is what I paid for. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why y'all giving me a hard time? Why y'all giving me such a hard time? You get what you pay for. All right. Enough of me. And I'm the same guy. Let me say this to you. I'm the same guy at the end of the meal. Everything was beautiful. My steak came back. Pizza was good. Everybody got their shit was right. I leave 20% tip for my waiter or waitress. I do them right. But I also sometimes do this. Miss Diane, who's my waitress. Miss Diane, is the manager in? Is available? And she thinks she done did something wrong. Because most people complain and shit to the manager. I don't just complain to the manager. When you've done a great job, and we need to do this more often for people that are working hard, they only get complaints to the manager. The manager will walk over to the table and I say, listen, Miss Diane was our waitress, and I just want to let you know, sir or ma'am, she did an excellent job with us. Everything was perfect. And she was Johnny on the spot with the refills, and we asked for extra bread. It came out hot. She did an excellent job. And most of those managers walk out waiting to hear some bullshit. They come out prepared to not necessarily defend their people. They come out prepared to say, yes, sir, no, sir, okay, what can we do to make it right for you, sir? That's what they do. But my daughters, my family, don't tell me the good shit. They don't tell me that I do that. They only tell me that I complain. They don't tell me that I'll call the manager and say some good shit. They don't do that. I raised them wrong. The hell? All right, so what we got out of today was this. If we're going to cut down on these shootings, it's not legislation to me. I'm sorry. It's not just being legislated. It's not stop getting into the Republican, Democrat, and all that bullshit and letting them argue and pull you into their arguments and pulling you away from more than the other and all that old goofy shit. The bottom line is we got soft targets. We got soft targets out here. We got to learn how to strengthen our targets. If that means teachers carry guns in the classroom, don't get it wrong. Miss Viola can't just show up to the math class next week with a gun. Miss Viola got to take some classes. Situational gun classes. Not just how to load it, clean it, fire left, fire right. No, she got to take 6 situational gun classes. I need moving targets. I need some smoke to come up with moving targets. Hit the target, Miss Viola. Hit the target. I need some of that good shit. I need 3 or 4 targets rolling at the same time. One with the good person on it, one with the guy with the gun, and then one with just that's like a student running by like this. I just need targets and shit to go around, and Miss Viola has to be on her shit or she don't pass. But here's the other thing. Once you make the announcement that our teachers, because there's teachers that are scared of guns. Not all teachers will carry guns in class, but that don't mean they students don't know. That don't mean a perpetrator out on the streets who about to hit a school, they be like, damn, they loaded up in there, yo. If I go to this school, it's potential there may be some blowback. They might shoot back at me. If I go, like now, come June 1st, walk your ass into the damn Showcase Cinema and start shooting and see what happened to your ass. Oh, it's gonna be some shit blowing back at you, because June 1st in Ohio, they have passed a law that it's, you can carry a concealed weapon. No background check, no nothing. Just get you a gun and be all here. Listen, let's just be honest. Massive shooters gonna have to think about shit now. You're gonna see a lot of guns on the back of people up in Kroger's. Now, it's going to be the weirdest shit if I ever walk in Kroger's and I see a dude walking down the street, walking down aisle 9, pushing a cart, and he got a AR-15 or he got some shit. I'm going to have a problem with that shit. That's going to get some getting used to. You're talking about the wild, wild west. You're talking about, what was that? The Tombstone. Yeah, I don't want Cincinnati looking like Tombstone, the city. Dakota or some shit like that. Everybody walking into the casinos and shit and got on guns. And I don't want it to get to the point where when you go to the store, you got to check your weapons and shit like that. Check your weapons in. That's going to get crazy. But if that means somebody won't walk into Kroger's because they don't know who might shoot back at their ass, now we don't have a soft target. So my solution to the problem, and I'll let a lot of people piggyback off what I say. They pretending that they not listening. I let them chew my philosophy up, chew it up and spit it out. It's not regulating guns for people that are going to use them responsibly. You're never going to stop irresponsible people with guns in the first place. The black market in America is just as strong as your primetime market. Ask the people that's selling marijuana out there legally on the West Coast. Ask your people in Colorado. Ask the people in Vegas. They didn't put so much tax on that shit. They didn't put so much tax on it that the black market is more, there's more money in the black market. Sorry. Same thing gonna happen to guns. Kyle Rittenhouse, perfect example. If that legislation was put in place, he still would have had that same gun running down the street, running away from those guys. He probably would have pulled the same trigger, and we would have had the same outcome. Legislation was not going to stop what happened that night because he didn't go to a gun store. He didn't go to the penny candy store on the corner and buy a gun. That's not how that worked. You got a sheriff right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, whose car was broken into right in front of her own house in her driveway, and they stole her weapon. That's a weapon that's out on the street right now. No fault of hers. I mean, I guess she's bears some responsibility. Maybe the gun shouldn't have been in her car like that. I don't know. I'm not going to judge it. Maybe it was only there for an hour. Maybe she was leaving and coming right back, and it just happened. I don't know. But I know one thing that's a fact. The car was broken into, and the gun is now on the street. They may have recovered it since then. I don't know. But those things happen. People are going to break into homes of people who have a great background, who bought guns. People's house going to get broken into, and them guns going to come up missing. They're going to end up on the black market and be sold on the street, and criminals will get guns regardless of what the laws are. You got all these laws on dope. People still getting high. But I don't know. I'll let the chaos agents figure this shit out. But all I ask them to do is stop blaming it on legislation. Stop. Legislation is not monitoring crazy folks. You can put all the gun rules up all you want. There's more to it than that. Way more to it than that. Let me see something. I think I got it. I'll let you know here. I know y'all like, what are you doing? You'll see here in a second. All right. I just wanted to see if I could get the date on that on that, and I can't. So I won't even mention it. June the 1st is when they're going to do the big thing in Cincinnati, in Ohio. I wanted to say Cincinnati, but it's actually Ohio. That's when they're going to have the carry gun law. I mean, you can carry a gun, concealed weapon on you, as long as you know what you're doing. And watch some of the soft targets turn into hard targets. There ain't gonna be nobody shooting everybody at the movie theater. I'm not talking about the brother who got shot in the back of the head at Walmart. That was not a random shooting. June 13th, perfect. Thanks, AP. That was a beef. That was a situation that they was gonna have a problem no matter where he was. I'm talking about massive, destructive shooting. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about soft targets being hit. Schools, grocery stores, and shit like that. That shit will slow down when there's a threat that somebody might shoot back. You know what I mean? So I really think that a lot of people are intimidated by guns, but keep in mind, Darlene, I know you ain't gonna agree with me. That's cool. Water ain't wet. Water is wet, and she'll find a reason. No, it ain't. Water, the driest. H2O is the driest thing that you can find on this planet. I didn't have you on. Did I have you on hold today? Darlita, I wouldn't have been able to make it through it. Darlita on me about some shit. Y'all know women. Y'all just don't let shit go. Y'all don't know how to let shit go. She's still arguing about Monday, y'all. We on Wednesday. Oh, you called today? I'm sorry. Hit me up tomorrow. I can only go. Oh shit, you on the phone right now? Oh shit. All right, Delita, hold on one second. Let me see if damn. All right, Delita, you there?
Yeah, where the hell you pick up then?
Shit. I'm sorry. Delita, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Damn. All right. Look, since you've been holding so long, I was about to close out. But let me just ask, what?
This a bit.
What I do this time?
I don't know what I was gonna say, but it was 40 minutes ago. I'm like, how long is this ass gonna keep me on?
All right,
well, you can't get another phone call while I'm on here. I know that much.
That's true. Well, do me a favor and make up some shit now, like you do all the time. Just hit me with everything you want to make up on. Go ahead.
There's nothing to make up. I mean, I hate guns, and you're not gonna change it. And when they bring out this gun, you're probably gonna have more shootings. And you might disagree with me.
I do.
That's okay.
I do. I don't think that it's
And
going to create more
why
shootings.
are y'all scared anyway to get background checks, even though you know you'll pass? What's that about?
It's not a matter of being scared of taking a background check, Delita. It's purposeless. It's not going to make a difference because guys that are out here committing crimes with guns. Excuse me, hold on. So guys that are committing crimes with guns, they don't take background checks, and they not going to go get one because you don't have to have a background check on the streets.
No, I understand that too, but at the same time, I'm like, what's the pushback for? Because even if you get a background, that's not them trying to stop you from owning a gun, and that's what you keep saying when you say that. That's not true.
Well, yeah, it is. If you take a background check, it can stop you from getting a gun.
By why?
Well, let's say, for instance, you had a drug conviction 30 years ago, 25 years ago, but you work over at GE or you work at Ford right now, and you're a productive citizen, and you didn't pay your debt to society. That background check, you still got a felony. It can stop you from protecting your home, your family.
But isn't there laws right now that say if you have a felony, you can't get it?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
So what the hell's right? But what's the difference then?
Well, because I'm
trying to figure out.
I just don't.
If there's a law in place that say if you have a felony, you can't own a gun. That same law would take either, or I mean, what's the difference?
I don't understand.
That same law is in place. You got to remove that law anyway to even validate your point.
No, what I'm saying, Delita, is somebody that may have had a conviction. If they had a conviction 30 years ago and they went to jail and served their time, and with 30 years later, you don't think that person should have the same rights as somebody like me, who passed a background check and I want to defend my family, you think it should be a lifetime ban of being a regular citizen in America because you made a mistake 30 years ago?
So is there a lifetime ban on it right now?
If you have a felony on your record, you can't get a gun. It's an actual charge.
Okay, right now, if they put that law in place to do a background check, that wouldn't change that law that's still in effect. So you still would really have to eliminate that law to even validate your point as being purposeless.
Wait a minute, I don't have to validate it
right now.
Delita, I don't have to. I don't have to validate a point when I'm speaking fact. It's a fact that you can't get a gun.
I know, but if you're not listening to me, if there's a law in place to say you have a felony right now, right?
Right.
The background check would not matter, and it wouldn't matter because there's already another law to keep you from having that gun.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but what I'm telling you is people that have guns out here are not doing backup checks. They're criminals. So even if you put
understand that, but I'm saying if you still have another law in place currently right now, you have to get rid of that law right now to say if you have a 30-year because that background check.
But is that what it is?
It's not going to hurt.
But do you know, as somebody who's, what point are you arguing? Are you arguing that the background check should be in place, or we don't need a background check?
I'm saying you keep saying about the background check, okay, but right now there's another law to stop people regardless.
Yes. That would be the fact that you're taking background checks, and if you have a felony, you can't get a weapon. Okay. Yes.
Right, and so if they say you don't need a background check, but with that law being in place that says if you have a felony, you still can't get a gun. So really, let me draw a scenario for you. Okay. Say for instance, you did a crime 30 years ago, and you did the time. You did 3 years. Okay. 30 years later, you're trying to get a gun, but you have a felony on your record. You can't get a gun because you had a felony on your record. Here's the other thing. If you get a gun off the streets and get caught with it with that 30-year felony on your record, you now get what they call a weapons under disability, which is an additional charge on top of the weapons charge. So I understand that, right?
Okay. So now let me ask you this. Without even being to go get that, when you take that background check, you're not going to pass the background check because you have a felony on your record. All right? I understand that. I get it. But what about the guys who are taking these tests, the background tests, clearing the tests, getting a gun, and they're able to protect their families, but the guy from 30 years ago can't protect his family because of something he did 30 years ago?
So you're not listening to me. I'm saying you have to get rid of the other law that's in place.
But
is that the background check at all?
But is that
don't do the background checks now, right?
Okay.
If you go get a gun and you caught with it, you're still going to get in trouble.
Yes.
Because you're legally not allowed to have it.
Yes.
So then you probably should be fighting on that law anyway.
Well, what I'm saying to you is this.
That background check is not right. You're just saying
that, well, let me ask you this.
Stop them, but they still ain't supposed to have one regardless.
Well, let me circle around and try to make the point a different way, maybe. Are guys out here with guns without background checks?
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm asking. Didn't I say, can I start over?
I know criminals own guns.
Okay.
The problem is guns fear. You're not gonna stop it. People who
can I walk you
would
to
have never thought had issues. People are shooting their kids with guns. People are shooting their wives. People are killing each other before these mass shootings. There's more people shooting individually on a larger scale than these mass shootings anyway. People who legally own guns are literally killing their families and other people anyway.
Right. Okay.
Regardless of all that crap. Okay.
I guess
I don't like guns, and I know it exists in this world. And you say you need one, and the only way to really stop it is to get rid of the guns, in which we know that won't happen. All you just don't have is corral, because you have states who don't have these laws, and they still have gun issues, or they have lapsed in laws for gun control, and they still have bad gun issues. Either way of the story, you're going to have problems because there are guns out here with people who use them when they get mad and they don't think. It has nothing to do with the laws, legislations, whether they're here or not. It's guns.
3 plus 1 is how much? 4.
Again, when you put
Wait a minute.
guns in
3
people's hands,
3
I don't
plus
care about no damn law. 'Cause
3
there's people who shoot people who are legitimately allowed to have them.
3
There's people shooting their
plus
family.
1
So it's guns
is
are the
4.
problem at the end of the day. And I know people love their damn guns, so it ain't nothing you can say about it. It's America. Y'all rather die with your damn guns than live without one. That's just bottom line.
So what do you
You're
think should
arguing
happen?
over frivolous shit anyway. Ain't nothing gonna, I mean, nothing gonna change.
What you think should happen?
Until y'all shoot all y'all asses up. I mean,
What you think should happen?
what do you mean?
No, I mean,
you
I'm
keep talking
saying.
about soft targets. When we go to the gas station, those are soft targets.
Yeah.
When I go to the bingo, those are soft targets.
Yeah.
When you go to a nursing home, those are soft targets.
Yeah.
Like, the whole world is soft.
No, it's
period.
not. It don't have to be. You know what
Well,
prevents
you
it?
would have to get security
No.
everywhere
That's
for the
not
most
that's
part.
not necessarily true. You just proved my point. You just said the Bengals game, the gas station, and all these other places, nursing homes. These
I
are.
didn't say no bingos game.
I thought you said the bingo game. I'm sorry.
No, I said the gas station.
I know you said the gas station. What you
Oh,
say about?
I
You
said
said bingo.
like bingo.
I'll be
Where you
damn.
go? B-I-N-G-O, B15, I-95, bingo.
How dare I
You dad
get that
cards,
confused?
you know.
How dare I get that confused? Bingo hall. Okay, the bingo
Yeah,
hall.
I'm just saying.
The bingo hall is a soft target. You're right. The gas station is a soft target. You're right. But they don't have to be, Delita. They don't have to be soft targets. That's my whole point.
But then you don't know, and then you don't know who the enemy is, and everybody have a gun. So how you gonna figure out who?
You know
to
what,
shoot at,
Delita?
right?
It
'Cause
ain't.
all got a
No,
gun,
see,
right? You
you
gonna
ain't
ask
never.
them, are they gonna shoot you?
Oh my God, you've never been to like a gun safety trainer school or none of that, have you? Because one of the things they do is to
I'm just
identify
saying, I'm saying literally, people when they mad, they use the guns. Okay, even the ones who legitimately have them, even the ones who went to gun training and legally have them. All these domestic violent people are shooting they people with guns.
Yeah, they doing that, and most of the ones that are doing that are gun holders that are doing it illegally. You see what I'm saying? The average
gun holders though. Some of these are people who legitimately bought the gun legally.
That's what I'm
don't
saying.
Have a past background, don't have a mental condition.
That's what I'm saying.
I know you're just focusing on the mass shooting. I'm saying guns is a problem.
But
mean, there's nothing else to discuss.
That's
you,
not
you get
true.
rid of the guns, and you're not going to.
But that's not true because the only stories you hear are the gun things that happen.
That's the only stories I hear. That's the only stories you look at. That's the only stories that's in the
No. What I'm
mass
saying
media,
is
but those aren't the only stories.
Okay, let me ask you something. There's a record out there of being 20 million AR-15s. 20 million are in America. AR-15s. How many problems are you having with AR-15s right now?
I said guns, period.
I know.
See, that's the thing. I'm saying guns, period.
But see,
you
gotta.
If you believe in the Bible, God says not kill, right? That's only if you believe in it truly.
Right.
So the gun is used to kill, right? So I'm just saying.
No, the gun is used for protection first.
What?
It's used for protection first. Understand? It's not meant.
We can say that, but the criminals don't think that way.
Are we defending criminals or are we defending protective rights? Which one are we defending in your conversation? Because you said that guns are meant to kill. Guns are meant for protection. There's police officers that have been on. Hold on.
Guns were meant for protection. You said that.
I know. I said that you said guns are for kill. I said guns are for protection. Now, there are police officers that have been on the police department for 30 years and never had to shoot their gun. But it's on their side for protection. For their protection. And that's what happens. When the police show up, it ain't always because people scared to go to jail. They sometimes defuse the escalation because they can shoot back. It's like the brother who's the police officer who stopped that thing up in Winton Terrace. The brother had a gun in his hand, and the police officer brother talked him down like, what the fuck you doing with that gun? Get that gun out your hand. The brother didn't even have to pull his gun out his holster. But the presence of the police made he de-escalated that situation because it could have got bad. It could have got worse than what it was.
Right. Most people that own guns don't use them anyway, so they'll say they
My
use it.
point
Exactly. They don't use guns are evil, and that's what I think.
Guns aren't evil. People are evil that use guns for whatever motive they have.
I know that too. I get that, but guess
We're
what?
not talking
How many
about a
lives would be
pit
saved
bull.
without guns in nobody's hand, though? How many lives would be saved with no guns in somebody's hand? Because these guns are getting filtrated into the
Y'all hear this?
community and into the criminals' hands anyway, right? How?
Guns.
How, right? You got to
Listen,
follow where it is.
let me just
It
be
is a
honest
part
with you.
of the economy. It is a part of the economy. They don't want to say that part.
If guns were not used, if you took every gun out of the United States right now, went in every closet, in every safe, every car, you got rid of every gun, there would be another tool used for protection, for murder, for robbing people.
Yeah,
there would be something else to
use. You would have to
use.
say that to convince yourself why it's
You don't think so? You don't think so? So you trying to tell me that crime wasn't happening before guns were made?
No, people do crimes. Yes, I said it'll be less of.
So you think
Just
guns?
Like people, listen. People arguing to get a pill passed. Maybe it might not work.
Pill?
Maybe it will. You won't know until you try it. So the argument would be, I don't even want to try it, because what you're doing the same thing that they do when they argue against you. Is you're giving reason not to do it, not even to even try it. And like I said, you're going to pass the background check. And if you keep saying somebody who was 30 years, you got to remove that other law that say you can't have it as a felon, or you have to put something in that if you serve your time, you're able to.
Then maybe you need to help them write that law, that legislation. Maybe you need to help them write it. Because right now,
I'm trying to figure out, why are you worried about a background check? And I understand criminals have it, but why are you worried about a background check? You want a background check when somebody watches your damn kids, somebody drive a school bus.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, Delita, is kind of like this. And I don't know I don't know another way to say this. Background checks are being done now, but let me just say this. The kids that are holding guns out in Chicago right now, none of them went through a background check, and they got massive guns out on the street.
Yeah, we know that.
So people gonna carry guns regardless of the background checks.
And a lot of those people who got those guns are repetitive criminals.
Right.
They've been let go.
Right. So make it make sense.
So maybe they should do something about that too.
You think?
If you're gonna keep releasing them out, I mean, what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, you're right. I've been saying that. I think we're on the same page. I just think that you think 3 + 1 is 4, and you don't think my 2 + 2 is 4. That's all I'm saying. Because we say the same shit. You just argue with me about it.
I'm saying you're not listening to me either.
Right.
I understand that, but
I was
a background check if you're gonna pass it.
I'm not
and then when
afraid.
there's already a law in place to stop people with felons,
Oh my
that
God.
you got to change that law to even think about what you're talking about.
I am not afraid of the background check. I don't have a problem with it. My argument is people are using this unsigned legislation as an argument and making it a Republican versus Democrat thing, when in fact we don't need them to change any laws, or they can sit their ass down. If we do it at a local level and handle state by state, we can solve the problem on ourselves. I'm saying that we need to reduce.
You can't solve it by yourself, depending on who you put in your state legislature.
That's not necessarily true. You can have Ohio did their own thing with this new concealed law. We did that. Biden didn't sign off on that.
What bill? It's not going to change anything. You're just going to have more shootings.
I disagree.
More people with guns out and shooting willy-nilly and going to say they felt scared or threatened.
That's
Somebody else got a gun, and that's true. How would you not know that person with that gun is threatening you if they pull it out and y'all both pulling it out?
Okay, let me ask you something, Delita. Since you made that point, and I know I know you smart, but since you made that point, I need you to tell me: are there more massive shootings, or are there more shooting in the state of Kentucky?
I don't know what the hell is in the state of Kentucky.
Well, are you hearing anything about they're killing each other and shooting each other up in Kentucky right now?
Kentucky don't even have no money. It's a poor state, and it's a rural state.
They got guns.
Because we don't equivalate ourselves to Kentucky.
Wait a minute, hold on. First of all,
don't give me a damn state. We ain't the same.
First of all, let me use. First of all, I can give you some major cities in the state of Kentucky that get money. Metropolitan cities, Louisville being one of them, Lexington being another. I can tell you some places that's getting just as much money as Columbus, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Ohio. So don't
Getting
underestimate
money
the
for what? Hold on, getting money for what?
I'm talking about corporate. You just said that they don't have no money in Kentucky. I disagree with you on that.
No, they get, yeah, because they said they get state money because that's one of the poorest states. So they get money for assistance too.
Right, for certain
So they have
things,
to
but
ask
I'm
money
talking
back
about
from the government because they
okay.
don't have enough money to do whatever.
Well, maybe it's because of their grain. I mean, farming has gone down. It's then took a shit kick in the last quarter. I mean, in the last decade. That could be part of the reason. But the other thing is that I know that they do have are guns, and their law, to make my point, is where our law is going. Kentucky been doing that. You don't hear of massive shoot. You might hear of massive shooting or whatever in other states, but we're talking about individuals carrying concealed weapons. You don't hear that there's a bunch of wild west going on in the state of Kentucky, and they have that law where you can open.
Have they ever had it?
Yes. What you mean? Wild west shootings?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Were they always in the news of having massive shootings?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No. The only thing that happened in Louisville
has a lot of shootings, and Ben had a lot of shootings. Right?
Okay, so that was happening without this new concealed law anyway, right? So
exactly.
so wait a minute, they ain't know exactly. It ain't no it ain't because what I'm making the point is that the fact that you can carry the concealed weapon is not going to add to the addition of shootings because it's not more shootings in Kentucky.
Well, we'll see. Well, you know what? Again, you comparing apples and oranges.
Am I really? I thought my point was valid.
Name me a big city, not just Louisville. Name me a big state that has cities like we do. And they lapsed in the law.
This is too easy.
Their violence go down or up.
This is too easy. You're not even you sure you want to ask me that question? So let me ask you this.
Well, I did ask you the question.
Okay.
No, you can't ask me a question with a question. I asked
you're trying to be funny now. But let me ask you this, and this will make you go to bed tonight sleeping easy. Like I better come with my A game messing with Wyatt. But let me ask you this: does Illinois have an open state concealed weapon? Do they have open concealed? Illinois, the state of Illinois. They don't.
Don't know, do they?
No, they don't. But they have crazy. They have 40.
Shooting,
okay,
right?
they have 40 or 50 shootings a weekend, right?
Okay, but Illinois, Chicago's always have shootings.
I said Illinois.
Before and after.
Yeah.
I mean, they always had that, right?
Well, yeah, but it's my point.
Okay. What point is it?
My point is it don't take that law. When you have that open concealed law where you can carry guns openly, that don't mean that there's going to be more shootings in your state. Kentucky is proving that. And when you don't have the law, and then when you don't have the law, don't bring.
I asked you not to bring Kentucky in.
Okay, it's not but I got to make the point. But when you don't have the law like Illinois, you still have massive shootings going on in Illinois. So explain to me how what you're saying makes any sense at all. That Ohio adopting this new law is going to create more shootings when we have surrounding states that have carrying concealed law.
You know what? The more guns you have, the more shootings you're gonna have. I mean, it don't even matter about the law. Like
you think said, that?
Criminals are gonna use the guns
or do
anyway.
You think the more responsible?
You have more kids dying now, even with people who have licenses because they're irresponsible with the guns.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't think
so.
that.
I'm just saying. I mean, right?
Statistics don't show that.
We'll always come up with an argument.
Well, I'm not. No. I only.
And that is, I'm not knocking you for carrying a gun.
I only argue.
More responsible. All I'm saying is, you have a lot of mental issues in this country that won't go away soon, and you're allowing them all to carry guns, and you trying to figure out how it's going to stop is ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Is ridiculous. The more guns you have, the more incidents you're going to have.
That's not necessarily true.
Whether it be criminals or people who don't have criminal background.
That's not necessarily true. And I'm a man that speaks from fact. And it shows that if a person is going to go into an escalated area of, okay, it's like if I know that if I go in here with a gun, I can possibly get shot back at, I may second think about going into a place to do a gun, to utilize my weapon on somebody. A soft target.
Well, okay, we have a lot of innocent
There's a
people,
reason
so we
why.
can get off the
Delete it.
off the mass
Delete it.
because those
There-
are innocent people. But look,
Delita, there's a
criminals
reason.
got
Wait a minute,
guns.
Delita, there's a
You-
reason why
you
massive.
having a gun ain't gonna stop these mass shootings. Me having a gun because I might not be in the area, so that don't prove shit either.
Delita, there's a reason why massive
Yeah.
shooters don't shoot firing ranges. They don't go into certain places that they know they're gonna get some blowback. There's a reason for that. And if they
You
have,
don't know the reason. You ain't talk to these damn criminals. They pick targets. That's what they do.
all
And
right,
like the
I'm gonna let you,
white
I'm
collar
gonna
said,
let,
there
I'm
were
gonna let
people
you
that
have
went
that.
in police officers
I'm gonna let
and
you have
police
that
stations.
final word on that.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna let you have that final word because I don't even have to say anything after that one.
Okay, because you know what? I want you to listen to something else too, like I said.
All right.
What are you scared of a background check when you already have a law that say felons can't have a gun?
Why I'm not afraid. I told you that several times. I'm not afraid of a background check.
But you said it will stop people who have felons, right?
That's because that's the
when
law.
they did their thing.
That's the law.
And
That's the law. The law
now,
is
that
if you have a
just- is
felony
that
on your
just a
record.
background check, but if they take away the background check, is the felon law still valid? Say you no longer come July or whatever, they take away, you don't have to do a background check. Are you still allowed to have a gun with a felon?
No, you're not allowed to have a gun with a felony.
Okay, so then you probably want to argue that one too, then, right?
I ain't
'Cause
got-
that's
no.
a whole different subject,
No,
right? That
no,
is, I'm
I'm telling you,
citizen,
I'm-
had nothing to do with legislation passing the background in. That's the law that you might want to argue about.
All right, I'm gonna let you have that
That's
last
what I'm
word.
saying too.
I
Like,
gave-
you
I
can't
gave you-
bring about that felon into no background check.
Delita,
When-
I'm gonna
when they
say
do
this
away
to
with
you.
it, they still can't have the damn gun.
Delita, I'm gonna say this to you. I appreciate you. 3 plus 1 is what?
Okay, look here.
2
3
plus
plus
2.
1, you got, look, that 40-minute layover, I'm gonna give your calling a break. 'Cause
My apologies, Delita. I didn't mean to have you on hold like that. My phone didn't beep. It didn't say nothing. It didn't give me no reminder. It didn't say a damn thing. So I apologize for you.
I was beeping and I was singing Aretha Franklin. I said, what the hell?
Oh my God. I'm sorry you were on hold that long. But listen, I got to get out of here, okay? I appreciate you calling in today. I appreciate you showing up and giving us the love. But it's time for me to make a move, y'all. And, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it on this Wednesday. And then Delita, since she, Lord have mercy, she did stay on hold for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, she say, but it was 30. She got to add extra. But since she stood on hold, I had to give her some time. I'm just that type of dude. So, peace and love to everybody, man. Once again, they didn't wore me the hell out. This is Wyatt. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock this Thursday. Ha! Ha! Ha!
I'm rhyming and designing, also creating the dope that rhyme that is always being taken by a sucker MC that wants to be like me. No trait of originality, but yo, I am not one to down another. So like I said before, just go for your sucker. I'm gonna take the time to drop a dope line, or maybe even 2 for you and your crew, so you can start shaking and moving all around to the light DMC and the king of chill sound. It's new and improved like a freshly cut diamond. Perfect timing like a gem is shining, or better yet, a ruby somewhat like a sapphire. This jam you're forced to admire. Yeah.
Look, listen. Look, listen.
Wanna battle me now? That's strange behavior. Drink and drive, yeah, you're probably safer. Cause when I start, I never give slack. You feel like a kick me sign was pinned to your back. Yes, I'm a super duper with the roper doper. I got the clean drawers on, yeah, I hope you do. Because I'm gonna strip you of your peace of mind. Now your peace is mine, damn, that's unkind. Come on, admit it. The light is too fly. The rhymes that I say, you can't deny. Because 100% is what I give it.
Say what?
I haunt the house with the hip hop spirit. I tear it, prepare it, like a hand-me-down, make you wear it. Save all your crocodile tears, grin and bear it. And with all your other brothers, you're gonna share it. You hear me, Junior? Soon you be a grown man with the mic in your hand and understand biting's not part of the plan. That's wrong. I thought I taught you better than that, but that's what you get from a stabber in the back.
Look, listen. Look, listen.
MC, master of creativity. Rapping is the activity. Rhyme is the sport. short. Let it be taught that like DMC is taking no shorts. In 88 I was great, but 89 is my time. Stop, look, and listen to the right rhyme. K-Rock, the DJ, throws the cuts my way. Put them on the reel or reel and let them play. Leg one and leg two, they do the jumping, the dancing, the pumping, always up to something. But when it comes to the rap category, MC Life headlines the story. Extra, extra, read all about how fresh and fly than we did before. Extra, extra, read all about how fresh and fly than we did before. Listen up, everybody, read all about it. Listen up, everybody, read all about it. Listen up, everybody, read all about it. Listen.